Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you? You know you done fucked up.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. So let's get back into it. Everyone, please hit the like button. Okay, we're back for part 2 for the second half of Diddy's trial today. Left off with Capricorn Clark undergoing cross-exam by Mark Agnifilo. Okay, so that all being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor, 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into the latest updates. The judge just got back on the bench 3 minutes ago. Lawyers are discussing upcoming exhibits before the jury is brought in. That is from CNN. Okay, so here is a video posted by Inner City Press. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here in front of the other Southern District of New York courthouse. Today, Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. We're halfway through the day, and it's been Capricorn Clark all day on the stand. On direct, she described a number of incidents, including being kidnapped with a gun in the car to Kid Cudi's house, where she called Cassie on the burner phone. She also described in great detail being accused of having stolen jewelry from Jacob the jeweler. I think this was during a white party at the Hamptons. She had the jewels, and then she didn't have the jewels. And for 5 straight days, she was taken to an empty office building on Broadway and given a lie detector test by a guy she said was as big as 2 linebackers, but she didn't know his name. The idea being that if she failed the test, she would be dumped in the East River. This was the quote. Now, when we broke for lunch, she had sort of broken down at the beginning of the cross-examination by Mark Agnifilo, the lead attorney for Sean Combs. He's usually a pretty kind of Columbo-like cross-examiner, but he got to her by saying, you had a crush on him, didn't you? And she said, I mean, she called him Chuck, as in chocolate, apparently. But she also said that he was he'd broken the glass ceiling and was quite an entrepreneur. So we'll see how she collects herself. The lunch break is longer than usual. The government has said that their case may be done in 5 weeks rather than 6. There was a sigh of relief among many of the journalists, but we're covering it. We're also covering. We came over here to 40 to cover some other cases. There's a tennis pro tour case about threats made to players apparently for starting another union. There's a Malcolm X case, and there's another criminal case that we came to check. Might as well, since we're out here, show behind us the tall building here. That's where the U.S. Attorney's office now. That's where they're planning out their day's direct presentations, and now apparently it's going to be shorter than they thought. But where's it all headed? Well, check out Inner City Press. We're putting stuff on Patreon. We did this morning, putting stuff on Substack. We have a book about week 2, and there'll be one about week 3. But we've got to go back in for the cross of Capricorn Clark. Inner City Press. We continue.
All right, so there you have it. I really appreciate him giving us these updates. Okay, so now let's go and see what they are talking about, because they are back in the courtroom. So let's see here. They were talking about the exhibits previously. Hold on. Okay, so here is what they say from 6 minutes ago. They're back below juror and witness information. AUSA says they propose to use communications between Ms. Clark and Ms. Ventura. We don't see any non-hearsay purpose. Agnifilo says there are logistics and photo shoots being discussed. She testified to this on direct. Okay. Agnifilo says the direct went more negative than we expected. Their theory is that Ms. Ventura was not permitted to be creative. And then the judge says, in the future, in what you submit overnight, it doesn't say the rest. Oh, it must be in docket. Okay. In the future, what you submit overnight must be in docket. Well, I don't know how they didn't know that. Okay. And so this is apparently a letter. What is this from? Okay. This is something he posted that they filed on May the 15th. I'm not going to get into it because it's old news as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so now let's see what they have at CNN. The judge says in their defense submission over the weekend, the defense argued the album cover was relevant, right, Ms. Shapiro? And then Shapiro says yes. AUSA says Ms. Ventura is topless with her arms crossed. So the judge intervenes and says, let's have Ms. Clark come back. Okay, so now they're having Capricorn return to the stand, honey. What's this about, an album cover and Cassie being on the cover of it? What is this all? Where is this all going, honey? I have several questions. Okay, still nothing from CNN. Ugh. All a hot mess. Hold on, beloveds. I'm going to the Breakfast Club. This is for 49 minutes ago with the Breakfast Club. They're talking about Q and Don Richard. Okay, so let's get into that. I'm going to share my screen.
Day 26, they were on Making the Band 4. He has finally come out and had a conversation about why he was so upset and crying in a lot of his interviews, talking about Diddy and that whole conversation. Yeah. And he is making some really huge allegations against Dawn Richard. Let's take a listen.
My ex at the time, which was Dawn, she gave me an ecstasy pill. Yeah, she said it was ecstasy, and she said it was from Puff to give to me. And it was red. And I took it because I thought I was going to get freaky with my girlfriend. And I trusted her that That's what it was. So I took it immediately, and she had one too. He gave her 2 of them. I took mine. Within like 20 minutes, I knocked out and blacked out. I woke up in the twins' bedroom in the basement, and I woke up out of my sleep screaming very, very loud.
Who are the twins?
Diddy's twins. His girls. Yeah, I woke up in their bed to cameras filming me, and they were laughing as I woke up out of my sleep, screaming. And I'm not gonna cry.
Okay.
It felt very sacrificial. That's what I meant when I said I felt like they were trying to hurt me, or Diddy was trying to maybe sacrifice me that night.
Now, when Q was up here, y'all remember that we almost kind of got to the Diddy conversation because we were asking, did they experience anything? And he was like,
very triggering for him.
Yeah, very triggering. He didn't want to talk about it. Then they went on, I believe it was Vlad TV, and he broke down. But now we finally have some more details. And that comes from the Amy and TJ podcast, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. They have this series that they're doing with Aubrey O'Day called Covering the Diddy Trial. Yep. So he was a guest. Now, those allegations are big. It's kind of crazy to hear it. Dawn actually had to come out and respond because people were like, hold on. With everything else that's going on, I don't think people even
just on the stand.
Yes. You know what I mean? So Dawn came out and said that, she wants to be clear. She has never drugged anyone or given anybody any pills. The suggestion that she did so is categorically false. If such a belief were genuine, it would be inconsistent with the actions that followed, such as inviting me into your home, introducing me to your younger sisters and family, and continue a relationship with me. It would also be inconsistent with choosing to attend social events without me, engaging with individuals I had previously expressed concerns about, and continuing to live with or provide favors to those same individuals. Many of these actions occurred while I was not present or even in contact with you. Throughout our time together, even after our separation, I made a conscious decision to not share or disclose private matters or the circumstances surrounding the end of our relationship to protect you. And she put you in caps. I did this out of respect for you and your family.
That's interesting because she's doing the same thing to Q that people are doing to Cassie. Like, why would you stay with a person after they do something, heinous to you? And I don't know what's true and what's not. I'm just saying. And it's interesting that that's the route she took.
Yeah. But so Dawn Richard also took the stand in Diddy's trial, and when she testified, she spoke in support of Cassie for the most part. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. But yes, people are doing that to Cassie.
And she did that to Q just now.
Yes, and that's exactly.
If I did that to you, then why would you meet me? Why would you your family? Blah blah blah. Like that's not right.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy that she took the stand and nobody brought up the fact that she had just worked with Diddy. She's on the last album.
The Love album.
I thought they did bring that up.
They didn't get to. They brought up her being in contact with him after leaving the whole Diddy situation in 2011, but they didn't specifically bring up the Love album. And I did ask why did they not, and I was told they don't know. But so that happened. So maybe that's a bit more of an explanation for people. But crazy. Picking up spirits,
brother Q.
Yeah, because sure.
Yeah,
a connection means something.
Picking up the spirits.
Picking up the spirits. Travis Hunter married his fiance, Leanna Lene. They got married on Saturday. And did y'all see the video of him dancing at the reception?
I did.
He seems so happy. I feel so bad for him.
He seems happy. I love it.
Oh my God. He seems like life. Such a good kid. There was also a video that went viral of him this weekend of he was like walking by a backyard and a kid was like doing football training or like runs, and he stops him and kind of like, and the kid is like, oh my God. But he gives his new wife a G-Wagon. They're just having a good time. The wedding was beautiful, but people are having a conversation about whether or not he got a prenup. There have been reports that he has no prenup.
Why are people so invested in a relationship?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just because of all of the stuff that went viral leading up to the wedding.
Okay, I'm sorry, but people need to mind their own business. Okay, they really need to mind their own business and let Travis be happy. He chose her. If it turns out to be a bad decision, well, then he'll have to deal with that, not them. So why are they so concerned? I always have questions about it. And I find it very interesting. But now to what she was saying about Dawn, at the end of the day, Dawn did exactly what people are doing to Cassie, saying, why would you stay if all this stuff is going on? And the bottom line is Q probably was all in love with her. So that's likely why he stayed. That doesn't negate the fact of what he's accusing her of. Okay. And then she said that she wasn't there for much of it, but clearly he said she was there. Okay. So anyway, but it's this whole thing with Travis Hunter. People need to mind their business and let him be happy. If he wants to be with her, that's on him. Like, I don't know where people get off thinking they can choose somebody for anybody. Okay. People that they don't even know in real life. Like, please make that make sense. Okay. So here's an update from Inner City Press 1 second ago. Judge says, now let's bring in the jury. Jury is entering. Agnifilo says, when you went into the park, it was to Tavern on the Green. And then Clark says, we parked there earlier in the day in the park. We ran into Nas. Okay. That's it so far. So they ran into Nas. A whole lot of names are being brought up in this case. I just want you all to pay attention. Okay. So far today, we have Suge Knight. Okay. 50 Cent. And now Nas. Okay. Still waiting for updates from CNN.
But I'm like, man, this boy can't catch a break because that has become the conversation around whether he should have a prenup or not with this woman, because there are reports that he does not have one. But
look, if he don't want one, he don't want one.
Word.
Don't let it. I know he's young and all that, whatever. If he don't want one and his mother not the person to talk to him about that, or, you know, his wife's mother ain't, it's all right. It's all right. I'm pretty sure he got lawyers and all that. He's a professional athlete, right? Yeah. If he ain't take care of it, it may not be his decision. It's okay. I mean, it may have been his decision to not have one. Like, people too worried about it.
Yeah, people are so invested in their relationship, and it's weird because it's like if they work out, they work out. It's for them.
Right.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And guess what? Only people got to deal with that is them.
It's them.
So
It just goes to show how people on the internet, okay, are so caught up in other people's business and think that they actually have a say-so, as if this man's really going to listen to him. I mean, they don't think that, like they said on the Breakfast Club, that his parents probably already spoke to him, lawyers perhaps, okay, giving him his options. And if he chose not to get one, that's on him. Now, while we wait for more updates, let's talk about this. I'm going to go to this video. Hold on. I'm going to let the Breakfast Club finish, and then I'm going to get into something else. Please like and share. Thank you, beloveds.
And why do people care so much?
Stupid, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just thought it was unfortunate. I'm like, dang, he's so happy and celebrating, and boom, here come the conversations. But
same like you'd be happy celebrating yourself, and then boom, why she wearing that?
But you know what? I'm not mad at it. I'd be like, boom, let's post some merch to sell. So
yeah,
I mean,
boy, Travis ain't mad at it either. He was just as happy.
My God, he was so happy.
Doing that, he backed it up and brought it forward and hitting the Lord's dance. He was cool.
You don't gotta go to them.
My hand.
When somebody raised their hand, you don't gotta go to them.
No.
Thank you. No.
Sometimes asking Lauren why she wearing that is a valid question. Why do we act like it's not? Why?
We let you rock. Every day you come in here a different color and we let you rock, right?
You know
we
why?
don't ask you.
DJ Big Six says Travis Hunter will just have to learn the hard way. Well, he may not have to learn the hard way. Maybe the young lady really loves him. And maybe everybody else just got it all wrong. I have several questions. And even if he does have to learn the hard way, right, they need to let him do that and stop worrying about this man's business. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go to this video while we're waiting for updates. Last we left off is they said they were, hold on. Last we left off, they said they were, or they ran into Nas at the park. Okay. So that's where we are. But I want you all to see this video of this man who got into a fight with a coyote. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention, honey. Got into a fight with a coyote and clearly won. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm looking this way, though.
For the first time since coming home from the hospital, James Pulliam showing us where it all went down.
By the time I turn right here, he probably right here, coming this way. So I'm like, oh, Lord.
He says he was standing in his usual smoke break spot when something felt off.
I felt something watching me the whole time anyway. It was like, I just felt like he was hunting me or something.
Moments later, out of the woods came a coyote.
And I kicked him when he jumped the first time. I'm like, oh. And I got right here. I tried to kick him again. I fell and crawled all the way back here. I picked up rocks, throwing it at him.
When James hit the ground, the coyote closed in.
He jumped on me and I caught him in the air. And he was like just trying to bite. So when I threw him down, and I'm trying to slide out the way, but it wasn't no way. He just kept coming.
He tried yelling, but it didn't work. That's when he knew this was turning into a fight for his life.
Then I had to rip my left hand out of his mouth. And then when I got my left hand out, I just choked him, just all the way till the police got there.
He wanted to make sure the coyote was dead so it couldn't attack anyone else in his neighborhood.
I was hoping ain't no more out there, because, ain't no telling when, or if it happened again, there might not be nobody around to help.
James went to the hospital for the injuries on his left hand. He's doing all right, but he needs to go back for more antibiotics.
Oh, they took x-rays and then gave me the rabies shots. That hurt worse than the attack.
Now back home, the legend already spreading.
Yeah, people ain't gonna believe it though. They're gonna think I'm lying.
A neighborhood hero no coyote will want to mess with.
I mean, I was afraid, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, it's either me or him, I'm right here, I'm looking this way though.
For the first time since...
Y'all hear that? Fighting a whole coyote? Honey, police, honey. Okay. How scary is that? Yikes. Okay, so anyway, somebody said that I cut it off too quick, talking about the Breakfast Club. Okay, so let's go back to it. Fat Boo said that coyote wasn't taking no mess. Honey, and then he had to get a rabies shot. He said that hurt worse than the attack. I can imagine. Okay, let me put my overlay back up. We'll let y'all hear the rest of this, and then we're moving on.
From light to dark to light, the mocha in the middle. We let you be great, be beige, be whatever you want to be bald, halfway fighting for your hairline some days. We let you be whatever you want to be. In spite of it, you could never be beige.
Hey, don't talk about headlines on the day like today, Lauren.
Oh, but listen, we let you be whatever you want to be, baby. I promise you.
Listen, I'm just simply saying, what is Lauren wearing is a valid question sometimes.
It is. And
if you pull up with leather on the beach, what is she wearing is a valid question.
I wasn't on a beach. But you know what? I don't mind you asking that question because thank you. Because now it has become a question that a lot of the media outlets are following as well too. And I always wear black designers, so it's given platforms. So that's how I'm gonna spin that.
There you go.
But back to what we was doing over here.
But you had that Chick-fil-A cow outfit the other day, and I told you
I didn't even wear that. That was a sample. I was trying.
She had a Chick-fil-A. Listen, I'm not even lying, y'all. She had an outfit on her desk, and it was like a mini skirt, but it was made out of cow skin, and it was called Mooberry. And I'm like, Lauren, don't you put that? She's like,
Two updates from Inner City Press. The first one says from 2 minutes ago, Agnifilo said, why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? Clark says in 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She thought I was being paid to help her. AUSA says objection. Judge says sustained. Re-ask. Agnifilo says, what did you see? Clark says she went from being a sweet model to being a feisty girlfriend. Agnifilo said, do you think she was talented? Clark says she had talent and was very beautiful. Agnifilo said, but not talented? She was not. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like it says she had talent. I guess she said she had no talent. Maybe he made a typo, but was very beautiful. Agnifilo says, but not talented. She said she was not. I have good taste. Well, there you have it, honey. Y'all heard that, right? She said she wasn't talented. She was beautiful. Well, I have to agree. And at the end of the day, that's how I knew it was all cap when Diddy signed her to a 10-album deal, because Diddy knew that she's not somebody he would normally sign, okay? Gravedigger said, Queen, she was in love with Puffy too. Well, it certainly sounds like it. Okay, I mean, after all of that kidnapping and everything, Nicole said, girl, because you wanted her man. Exactly. This is all so crazy. I mean, I don't know what it is about Diddy. Now, the lady said that he had a Tootsie Roll, if you all remember. That one lady said in the lawsuit that he had a Tootsie Roll. And so I'm just wondering what was all the big attraction about Diddy? I mean, I know he was a billionaire, but I'm just saying people were just doing the most for Diddy. Okay, let's think about this for a second, because you see, some of Diddy's baby moms were friends. Misa Hilton, Kim Porter, Sarah Chapman. They were friends at some point. So then what would make friends stab each other in the back to get with Diddy? And it's Tootsie Roll, no less. And then you have Capricorn Clark saying that she had a crush on Diddy. For what? After he woke you up in the middle of the night at gunpoint, talking about you're going to take me here, you're going to do this and that, and then kept you in a warehouse for 5 days straight, making you take a lie detector test because he was accusing you of theft. This is all crazy. I don't know what people were thinking about. Maybe it was the time and age, because maybe that was the 90s, the early 2000s. Is this what people were just doing? Is this how it just all went down? Were people this desperate to be a part of Diddy? I just find it all so crazy. Like, it's not making any sense to me. Why would you put yourself through this? Okay? Why would you keep going back when Diddy has done all these nefarious things? I'm just saying it's all crazy, honey. But anyway, let's go back to the Breakfast Club and see what they're talking about. Pay attention. Oh, crazy.
The black designer, I don't care.
Gun hostess too, right? They had like gun hostess.
Gun hostess.
Yes.
Like, what is it? I'm like,
Oh,
come
my
on,
God.
this is crazy.
Oh,
With
man.
suspenders.
Sometimes
It was a mini skirt with gun holders and suspenders.
Okay.
And it was
I did not
called
have this-
Mooberry, and it was cow skin. She had it laid out like the first day of school.
She did.
I know,
Like
when
she was gonna kill him in DR.
Are you gonna wear it? Because when you eat
No,
it,
it was
when you-
exactly. It was a
Yes.
sample because, like I told you, I model, so they sent it to me to try on so they
Yeah.
could get the measurements right. But
Yeah.
I mean,
set
now
yourself
I'm
up.
going to wear it because I think I should photo shoot in it because
Yes.
you're so obsessed.
And when you
like,
eat the shoot down, I don't want to hear nothing but apologies.
yes,
'Cause you,
When she wears that and post that on Instagram, just everybody go to her page and just put number cow emojis.
they be listening to you too.
Okay,
Like,
please, please, I can't wait for you.
All right.
Oh my
That's the
God.
latest with Lauren.
I was trying to give Kai Sanat another little moment, but you just be ruining
Salute to
everything.
Kai tonight. What's up with Kai?
It's
We
just
gotta go.
Yes,
No,
we
we
gotta
don't.
get
Give
out
Kai
of
a
here.
moment. What's up with Kai?
The Streamer University.
Yes.
The Streamer
yes.
University went down this weekend. He had Drake pop on in. I also
did.
wanted to mention at one point he posted that there were 23 million hours watched
Wow.
just in the time
Wow.
from when the beginning.
Congratulations.
That is
That's
amazing. And then it's just been everywhere.
Yes.
Drake in his speech to the new creators and the people that are disrupting, I thought was fire.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just wanted to say
It was
that.
a great
to him.
story.
And he is very smart. And I love that he is young, but he is very aware. He was at the AMAs
Yes.
and one of his fans, he met one of his fans there, right? A little girl. Her dad immediately started talking about how much he loved Kanye and this, that, and the other. And I love how he did it. He said, I'm trying to protect my energy, and whatever you got going on, brother, you can take that over there.
Do you have that audio,
Very
Red?
smart.
We should have that audio.
Very smart. I love
It
how
should
he
be there. We
handles
cut it an hour
crazy
ago.
situations like that for him to be so young.
Yep.
I love that. So
Yeah,
shout out to Kai.
Salute to Kai. I enjoyed Screamer University. I mean, I haven't gotten through all of it because there's so much, because so many different screamers were screaming.
Yeah.
But of course, I was checking Los out. I was rooting for Los, but I was also rooting for Lil Roddy, Baltimore. Boy, that Lil Reggie,
love him.
Lil Reggie,
man,
yeah.
Lil Reggie's so damn funny to me. You hear me?
That's because he reminds you of old you. Oh yeah, Reggie mouth get crazy.
He do
pause.
get crazy.
Like, yeah.
But he's just a funny dude.
He is funny.
I like people that really are solid in who they are. He knows who he is.
Do you? Because you didn't like my
So
Kyle
he
outfit.
is crazy on the mouth.
And I am
tip.
solid.
We gotta go,
He's
guys.
so
We gotta
funny.
go. We gotta go. We
Yes.
gotta go. We gotta go. She gotta get the court.
I also want to say too, Kai had talked about how Netflix and all these other platforms that came to him to do Streamer University,
Yay.
and he sat down and did a whole video about. I said no because I'm the Netflix.
Right,
And
that's
I
right.
was like, he is so smart. I love him.
That's right.
I don't even know how they could have pulled that off.
No,
but,
they couldn't.
They
But we
wanted-
gotta go. She gotta get the court.
Yes, I gotta go.
All right, that's the latest with Lauren. Let's get to the.
Okay, so that was smart of Kai not to sign with Netflix. Okay, he said he's the Netflix. Okay, please pay attention. Now, Mama Joyce said, Queen, when you have money, you're automatically cute. Forget the Tootsie Roll. Who wants their internal organs rearranged anyway? Oh, well, okay, well, internal organs rearranged. I don't know about all of that, but clearly, I would think that one would want more than a Tootsie Roll, beloved. And when you have money, you're not automatically cute to me. But my thing is, even if he had money, I'm just wondering why these friends were stabbing each other in the back to get with him. That's all I'm saying, honey. Okay, because you can give me all the queen's jewels to do that to one of my friends. But hey, you know. Okay, so less than a minute ago, Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, testified that she and Cassie started to develop some issues around 2008. She said she got a little bit more bravado as being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She went from being more of a sweet model to a feisty girlfriend. The defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, asked Clark if she thought Ventura was talented. I think she had talent, she responded. She testified that Ventura's live performances weren't great. When she returned to work for Ventura in 2016, she said her rug with a D use was preventing her from the opportunities that were before us. You know, she did have some bad live performances. Okay, and you do have to have talent to do that, to pull those things off. You see, here's the thing. You may be a very good singer, and I'm not saying that Cassie was or wasn't, but I'm just saying, for example, speaking in general, you may be someone who is a good singer, or you may rap or whatever, and you may be good at it. But the bottom line is, if you can't perform on stage in front of a live audience, or you have a very lackluster stage presence, yeah, that's not going to work for you. Okay, that's not going to work for you because, you know, many people will sound good in the studio, just like many people sound good in the shower. But can you get up there on that stage and perform when it's a packed house? Okay, when there's 10,000 plus people watching you, okay, expecting you to put on a show. Can you do that? You know, so that all adds to your talent or can take away from your talent. All right. So anyway, and you know, quite frankly, Arbor said Ryan Leslie, someone said Cassie wasn't that talented. Well, you know, Cassie has pretty privilege. You see, there are some people that get deals and stuff just because of how they look. The people know that they really don't have a great, you know, strong talent, but because they're attractive, they say, well, you know, we can just throw a little something together, get a little auto-tune here, or get somebody to write this and that there, you know, get some good beats and some good producers, and we can make it work. That's what they think about sometimes. Okay, that's how they do. That's how they do. Arbor said, yes, it was the looks. Definitely the looks. Okay, definitely the looks. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, still waiting for more updates. And while we're waiting for these updates, let's talk about Papoose's son. That's what I meant to tell you all, that Remy was trying to, you know, expose or whatever. Let's talk about that, because here's the thing. I'm going to show you all some pictures of his son. It's been a weekend of serious drama in hip-hop royalty land as Remy Ma and Papoose, once considered one of the strongest couples in the game, continue airing out their relationship on social media. The two have exchanged emotional and biting posts with accusations flying from both sides. Okay, so anyway, January the 14th, Remy Ma and Papoose attend Mary J. Blige's birthday celebration at Cipriani Wall Street on January the 14th of 2023 in New York City. But in the middle of all the mudslinging, one moment stood out, and not in a good way. In one of her public statements, Remy Ma brought Papoose's child into the mix, alleging that he's been trying to hide his child, who identifies as part of the LGBTQ plus community. The comment immediately sparked backlash, with many calling it out of bounds and unnecessarily personal. And honestly, they're absolutely right. Okay, now rather than react with anger, Papoose responded with something far more powerful: love. Okay. All right, see, this is how you know, and I want you all to pay attention, specifically you women out there who call yourself going in on Papoose and sticking up for Remy. First of all, you make no sense. Your argument is not valid, and in fact, it's obtuse. Okay, yes, I said it. And another thing is this: Papoose is much more high vibrational than Remy ever could dream of being. Okay, people that know her says that she's nasty, has a whole nasty attitude, is just very rude. Papoose said the same thing, so I believe him. Now, also, they said he responded with love. Well, you know, love is the highest vibration, which lets me know that he's high vibrational. And Remy is bitter, mad, butthurt, angry, and all of the above. And so therefore, she is low vibrational. And that's why she is the problem, not Papoose or Clarissa. Now, while he admitted that he and his child don't see eye to eye on everything, he made it clear that he still loves and supports him. He says, or he actually called him them, using his son's pronouns, because remember, he's transgender. He said he still loves and supports them. Okay, he didn't deny their identity. He didn't distance himself. He stood firm in what really matters: unconditional parental love. You see, she's trying to paint him out to be somebody who just just dissed his son, just disowned him because of the way he is. No, that's not the case at all. And that's why he spoke out, because if you remember, he never speaks out on these things. And he said the reason he spoke out is because she brought up his son. For years, Papoose has been known not just as a rapper, but as a devoted father, and a father who fiercely protects his family. So it wasn't surprising to see him take the high road, even while navigating his personal hurt and pain. Now, what's unfortunate is that this moment, which could have been an opportunity to showcase the complexity of parenting and evolving family dynamics, became a part of a public feud. Papoose's child, who is proudly living in their truth and often posts self-expressive images and messages on social media, deserves respect, not weaponization, Remy. Okay, because that's all she did. She tried to weaponize his son's asexuality against him to make him seem like he's homophobic or something like that. Now, for fans who have followed Papoose's journey, this is a reminder that Black fathers can and do show up with love and support for their LGBTQ plus children, even if it's a journey full of learning and growth. Now, while we often don't see these conversations play out publicly, especially in hip hop, okay, where masculinity is often tightly policed, Papoose's response broke the mold. Okay, it broke from that mold. It didn't center on shame. It didn't center on control. It simply said, I may not understand everything, but I do love my child. Okay, I mean, that's what I got from it. Like, Remy is just a devil, honey. She's just a whole devil, because why would she even bring that into it? She's so busy trying to hurt Papoose that she's not realizing that in doing so, she might actually be hurting his child. Okay, but does she care? No, because the only person she seems to care about is herself. Okay, I don't even know if she cares about her own daughter, who she leaves with everybody else, to the point that she didn't even know that Papoose picked the child up from school, okay, one day. Now, as for Remy and Papoose, their relationship appears to be deeply fractured. From allegations of infidelity to betrayal, their once unshakable union, the couple who stayed strong through Remy's incarceration and return to music, seems to be at a heartbreaking crossroads. Social media, which once celebrated their Black love, is now watching a very public unraveling. But even in this mess, there are important takeaways. Real families are complicated. Real relationships aren't always fairy tales. And even during messy breakups, protecting your kids, no matter their identity, should never be up for debates. I absolutely agree. Now, whether or not Remy and Pap reconcile, we hope this chapter encourages more openness, support, and understanding, especially for families navigating identity change and public pressure. Okay, because at the end of the day, love isn't just something you say. It's how you show up, even when it's hard. All right, well, that was beautifully said, honey. Remy, you need to sit your silly self down somewhere. Stop making a fool and a spectacle out of yourself. Okay, because that's all she's doing. Why would you bring that man's child into it? Because she's a devil, that's why. And she's just so mad and butthurt. Honey, you can't put nothing past a woman that thinks on her level. Okay, please pay attention. This is the son right here. Okay, now this is Pap's child. All right, so anyway, with that all being said, Remy needs to mind her own business. She really does. She's doing the most. AJ said it doesn't look like Manny Fresh. No, I don't think so. I'm not seeing Manny Fresh. I'm not seeing Manny Fresh, beloved. Papoose said, Queen, you go, girl, get it in. Thank you. Okay, and so that all being said, Andrew Vason, are you in Australia? Because I noticed you called me mates. Are you Australian, beloved? Because now when I read your comments, I'm going to hear it in an Australian accent, no less. Okay, let's go to the latest updates from CNN. They say Sean Diddy Combs made sure that Cassie Ventura had access to top-tier industry professionals that create stars, including producers, choreographers, and stylists. Okay, his former assistant Capricorn Clark testified under cross-examination. Ventura had more attention and resources than other artists signed with Bad Boy, especially at the beginning of her career between 2007 and 2012. Now, wait a minute. Stop. This sounds like it might be helping Diddy. Because if you remember, his defense team has been painting the picture that while Cassie was signed to Bad Boys and Artists, she was getting all these people that she could collaborate with. And, you know, she was just getting, you know, shows and all this stuff. Andrew said, yes, mate, I'm from Queens Island. All right, I know about Queens Island. I learned about Queens Island actually during the pandemic. All right, shout out to you, beloved, from the land down under. Okay. Now, that used to be my song, by the way, from Men at Work. Okay, so now with that all being said, she says, from my point of view, the lion's share of Bad Boy was on Cassie in that first block of time. Okay, that's what she said, referring to a time period between 2007 and 2008. I'm sorry, 2007 and 2010. Okay, now they say new artists like Machine Gun Kelly and French Montana were getting a lot of attention at Bad Boy around 2012. But Capricorn Clark said Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, said Cassie seemed to be getting the same amount of attention. Y'all hear this? Aqua Girl Writing said that was my jam too, Queen. Okay. Jenna said Queensland, Queen. I know, right? I should move there. Pay attention. Now, with that all being said, Clark said that even though Combs took a step back around 2016 to 2017, she believed that Ventura still had the same support. All right, because Cassie was saying that Diddy wasn't doing anything for her career. Capricorn is alleging that she still had people that she was able to work with, and Diddy was giving her a lot of attention and getting her the best of the best. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back to Inner City Press, where the last we heard was when she asked, Agnifilo asked her if Cassie was talented. She said she was beautiful, and then asked, why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? Okay, and then the judge said to re-ask the question because the feds objected. Okay, so now we're at the latest updates. Clark says, I ran into Cassie. She said that she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. Agnifilo says, what about Official Girl? She says, super cute video. Agnifilo says, King of Hearts. Capricorn says, it was fresh. Puff liked it. Agnifilo says, Cassie had a green wig. She says, yes. Agnifilo says, we moved to admit this witness. Okay, AUSA says, there is a ceiling issue. Agnifilo says, you don't remember this email? She says, I don't. Honey, what's in the email? What is in the email? That's what I want to know. Okay, so now let me see if they have anything about this in CNN. Okay. Nothing else from CNN at this moment. Okay, this is all getting real interesting. This is all getting real interesting, beloveds. All right. Now, let me see what we have here. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you. I'm going to go to Fox, see what they have on there. Okay. Capricorn Clark worked for Sean Diddy Combs again as a creative director for Cassie in 2016. This is from a minute ago from CNN. Okay, Clark helped create a new look for Ventura to show off at the MTV Video Music Awards that year that required Ventura to dye her hair neon yellow. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo asked Clark to confirm Ventura was on board with the look and had a say in the decision. Clark testified that she presented the idea to Ventura, who liked it, before telling Combs about it. The defense attorney explicitly asked Clark to confirm that Ventura wasn't forced against her will to dye her hair, which Clark did testify to. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to establish the fact that Cassie did maintain some control over her own life, because they were painting it as if Diddy was in control of every single aspect of her life. That's what Dawn Richard testified to, that Cassie couldn't make any decisions, that everything was all based off of what Diddy wanted and what Diddy said. And so Capricorn is just basically saying, yeah, she was able to pick the hairstyle or whatever. She wasn't forced to do anything. Okay, so please pay attention, honey. Okay, hold for further updates. Whew.
When is the tent coming back? Thank you. All right. Capricorn Clark is set to testify. She could be a key. Whoa, here it comes. What? Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh. Yesterday we had such a crappy backdrop. It was the jail was behind us, but it was so overexposed. But I was in the shade and it was in the sun.
What jail?
MDC.
Oh, that's one in Brooklyn.
Yeah, where they're holding that guy who tried to blow up the embassy. It was a weird story. Yeah. Luigi?
Yeah. Yeah, all three of them in the same place. This was my time card.
Uh-huh.
But I spelled D-I-T-T-Y.
Ditty.
And then I was like, I don't know, it's too hard to go back and change. Yeah. So it's just left.
Al.
Book on dollar.com to get our lowest rates. Why are you in my house?
Good morning to you, Gina. And when court resumes at around 9:30 this morning, another one of Diddy's former personal assistants, Capricorn Clark, is set to testify, and she could be a really key witness for the prosecution. Backing up for a moment to last week, rapper Kid Cudi testified that Clark called him in December of 2011 to warn him that Diddy had forcibly entered his house after learning that he had been dating Cassie Ventura. When Cudi got there, he alleged Diddy was nowhere in sight. Instead, he said someone had opened the Christmas presents he bought for his family and locked his dog in the bathroom, which then prompted him to call police. A few weeks later, Cuddy says his convertible was set on fire while it was parked in his driveway. A police report from the time indicates that Cuddy's convertible was indeed set on fire by an incendiary device. So this was back in early 2012, but Diddy was never linked to the incident. Cuddy told jurors he met with Diddy at a Los Angeles hotel to try and smooth things over, but Diddy denied any involvement. The jury also heard from a makeup artist on Thursday who corroborated some of Cassie's domestic violence allegations. She said Diddy assaulted Cassie after the 2010 Grammy Awards, leaving the singer with a swollen eye and a busted lip. Later, the general manager of a hotel that Diddy frequented in Beverly Hills testified that Diddy stayed there under aliases such as Frank White and Frank Black, names Cassie says he often used when checking in for freak-offs. Now, the judge hopes that this trial will conclude by July 4th, but the prosecution says it needs at least 4 more weeks to present its case against Diddy. So factoring in those 4 weeks, about another month, and then the jury having to convene and come to a verdict, this trial could obviously take a bit longer than that. Certainly complicated factors to add into the equation. Gina, that's the latest we have live here in Lower Manhattan. We'll send it back to you. Thank you so much. Okay.
I want to get it dirty, though. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so with that all being said, so let's get into it. Now, mind you, remember when Capricorn was testifying about Diddy telling her to go get the Coca-Cola? Okay, and he said it wasn't for him, so she went and got that. He was having her pick up stuff for his friends or whatnot, and then also even had it delivered to her house. Okay, he had stuff delivered to her house, and also, and my friend texted me all this. This is what was taking me so long. I was reading the text messages. So Alice said, "Queen, you okay?" I'm fine. I was reading text messages, okay, that my friend was sending. But anyway, so she says that he had the rugs with a D delivered to Capricorn's house, and also says that he was getting these pills, these prescription pills, okay, probably opiates that are, well, he was getting them in Capricorn Clark's name. That's because he had maxed out. He had gotten so many. And you know that because a lot of people become addicted to these pain pills and things like that, that they do keep track to see how many they're given to a specific individual. And so after you've reached the max, they won't give you any more. They won't prescribe them to you. So Diddy was being slick and getting Capricorn and probably other people too to have them in her name. Okay, which is absolutely illegal. Just a hot mess. Okay, but now let's see what other updates they've come up to on Inner City Press. Okay, so Inner City Press 3 minutes ago says, Agnifilo said, "How did Mr. Combs get into your building?" Capricorn says, "I was told the security guards got fired." Okay, Agnifilo said, "What was his name?" She says, "Some random security guard." Agnifilo said, "What did he look like?" She says, "Black guy, younger than 35. Agnifilo says, "What was Mr. Combs doing with the gun?" She says he had it in his hand. Agnifilo said, "He wasn't pointing it at you?" She says, "No." Agnifilo said, "But you told the government he pointed it at you." She says, "It says, or waved it around. That's more correct." Okay, so Mark is clearly trying to trip her up to discredit her story or to at least prove inconsistencies in her story. Okay, now let's go to CNN. Okay, Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, testified that she first learned Cassie Ventura and rapper Kid Cudi were getting to know each other around Thanksgiving in 2011. She said that Kid Cudi came to her apartment to hang out once, sometime after Thanksgiving. Clark said that about a week before the alleged kidnapping, she picked Ventura up from Kid Cudi's home after she spent the night there. Okay. Says she picked her up from Kid Cudi's home after Cassie spent the night there. Okay, so with that all being said, honey, this is all getting so juicy. And the security guard got fired because they probably let Diddy in just because he was Diddy. Okay, probably thought it was okay. He probably told her, "Oh, my employee, my assistant, Capricorn Clark, she's upstairs asleep. I need to go get her. We're having an emergency. Could you please let us in?" And they probably let him right on in, not realizing that he was a dangerous person. That's right, Mel. Diddy is a dangerous person. Absolutely. Okay, now here's the updates from Inner City Press. Okay, from 1 minute ago. Agnifilo says, where did you change into street clothes? Capricorn says, "In my closet." Agnifilo says, "Isn't it true you went?" This is when you know it's about to be some bull crap, okay? Anytime you're being cross-examined and they say to you, "Isn't it true?" Okay, you already know they're about to go in, okay? And so anyway, he says, "Isn't it true that you went so that Mr. Combs wouldn't do something stupid?" "No, I went because he said he didn't care if I didn't want to go." Okay, so now Mark Agnifilo is trying to paint it as though you voluntarily went with them. You weren't kidnapped. Okay. Then she says, "I went because he said he didn't care if I didn't want to go." Huh. Oh, honey, this is good right here. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, so you guys, we're going to the next update. You all bear with me. Seem like I'm catching a cold, so I keep removing myself from the screen so I can blow my nose, and then I have to sanitize my hands. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's get back to CNN and see what's the latest from them. Okay, so now remember, the last update was that Cassie spent the night at Kid Cudi's house and Capricorn Clark picked her up. Okay, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo suggested that Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, told an agent from Homeland Security Investigations that Combs came to her door with a building security guard the morning that she says he kidnapped her to go to Kid Cudi's house in December of 2011. Now, on the stand, Clark repeatedly denied saying that and maintained that a security guard was not with Mr. Combs. Clark testified that Combs demanded a security guard let him into the building that morning, and the guard was fired soon after. Whew. This is all a hot mess. It's Breach. You said my allergies are on fire too, Queen, but it's the pollen for me. You know, it could be the pollen for me too, beloved, because I'm not sneezing or coughing, just having a runny nose. Thank you, beloved. Cookie said, Queen, do what you have to do to be comfortable. Thank you, beloved. Okay, and so that all being said, honey, this is about to get juicy, because where is Mark Agnifilo going with this? He's trying to trip up Capricorn, honey. He's trying to catch her in some lies or trying to make it look like her story is at the very least inconsistent. But he's going to have to come better than that, okay? He's going to have to come a little bit better than that. All right? Please pay attention. Laverne said, take care of yourself. You need to stay well. I know that's right, beloved. Thank you. Okay. I need to go lay down somewhere, guys. I'm feeling forlorn. Okay, so anyway, still nothing else from CNN. Let me go to NBC, see what they have. Nope, nothing yet. Okay, we're still waiting. Let me skip. Why am I got y'all watching this? Okay, so 1 minute ago from CNN, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo suggested Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, voluntarily went with Combs to Kid Cudi's house in December of 2011 because she didn't want him to do something stupid. Now, is this true, or was she forced to go? I don't know, but she did already admit that she had a crush on Diddy. Well, she didn't admit it. She just said that she didn't remember sending that text. Okay, she didn't deny it. She just said she didn't remember. I think she said it. I mean, they have the receipts, the text message. So, okay, now Agnifilo suggested that Clark told him and attorney Tina Garagos this at the meeting. Oh, wait a second. Do you all hear this? Mark Agnifilo suggested that Clark told him and attorney Tina Garagos this at the meeting with attorneys in April of 2024. On the stand Tuesday, Clark maintained that she did not want to go with Combs. I went because he told me that he didn't care that I didn't want to go. Agnifilo asked if it was possible that Combs would do something stupid because he was a jealous guy. She said, I wouldn't use the word jealous. He just has a very bad temper, is what she said. Ooh, do y'all hear this? So she already told him and Teeny that she went because she didn't want Diddy to do something stupid. Y'all hear this? Sandra said Capricorn playing stupid. This is what they always do. When somebody gets caught in a lie or they don't want to admit to something that they previously said and their story's now changing, they say, I don't remember. But he's got the receipts. He's got the receipts sitting right there. Nicole says Capricorn probably envied the way Diddy acted over Cassie in a sick, twisted way and inserted herself in that situation to prove her love. You know what? That makes a whole lot of sense, beloveds. That makes a whole lot of sense because she already said that she had a crush on him. Okay, Alexa, play How Did You Know I've Got a Crush on You by the Jets. This is all crazy as hell. Okay, Nicole said, Queen, she wasn't forced. It's given that she wasn't. Okay, Gravedigger said the jury is listening. I know they are because we sure are listening. Okay, now it's given that maybe she liked Diddy. She already said she had a crush on this man. You came back to work for him in 2016 after you said that he kidnapped you at gunpoint. Now it's all starting to add up. Now this is all starting to add up. Sheila said, I said before Capricorn was jealous. And you know what? This might be why Lauren London was so cool with Diddy. Because remember I told you all, if Diddy did all this stuff to Capricorn, like putting hands on her and just being so mean and nasty, why would Lauren London be so close with him to the point that she calls him her brother? If he did this to your blood sister. Oh, Mel says she's helping the defense. That's what it sounded like. This is all crazy. Nicole says she jumped in the car while they pulled off. Fat Boo said, give it to me, baby. Not Rick James. Elizabeth said Nicole got her thinking cap on right today. Girl. James said, right, Queen. Okay. This is all added up. Lord have mercy. Why would these people get up here and just change from the story that they already told? Or did they forget exactly what they said? Laverna said, yes. Why did you go back, Capricorn? Okay. That's very interesting. You know what? And also, let's think about the guy who used to work for Diddy, who was like the big designer at Sean John Cassius. I can't remember his last name. I played the audio from you all from the interview he did with Tasha K. Remember when he said Capricorn Clark was not a nice person? And he said she used to work for Diddy and now she's testified against Diddy. But the way he said it, it sounded almost nefarious. Like, what are you talking about? She should testify against him if he did something crazy. But he was saying stuff. Let's go back to that video. I'm going to dig that video back up and play that again, okay? Because now I have several questions for Capricorn. Okay, I have several questions. Okay, now, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo questioned Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, on how Combs and his security guard got through the gate surrounding Kid Cudi's property. Oh, there was a gate? I want to know this too. Clark testified that she wasn't sure because their backs were to her and she wasn't paying close attention to what they were doing. I was praying that Cudi wasn't inside there, she said. Hey, this is all getting real interesting. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Now let me go back to what that guy said. Hold on. Let me dig that up real quick. Matter of fact, I'm going to find that on my phone. I'm not even going to. Let me see here. It's all interesting.
with a swollen eye and a busted lip. Later, the general manager of a hotel Diddy frequented in Beverly Hills testified that Diddy stayed there under aliases such as Frank White and Frank Black, names Cassie says he often used when checking in for freak-offs. The judge hopes that this trial will conclude by the 4th of July, but the prosecution says it still needs about 4 weeks to make its case against Diddy if you factor in today's testimony, and then 4 more weeks plus the jury convening and, you know, coming to a verdict. This could take a lot longer than that. But again, a lot of ifs and whens and buts when it comes to this trial. Nothing is guaranteed. No set timeline right now. Rosanna and Kurt, that's the latest live here from Lower Manhattan. We'll send it back to you. Okay. All right. All right. Real
Okay, so still waiting for more updates. Let me go to this video real quick. Okay, here we go. She ain't sleeping well, okay? All right. I have to agree, beloved. Now, let's listen to what this guy said about Capricorn Clark. Now, this is just a brief clip because this is from Tasha K's interview. This is a clip that she released publicly. But you know, at the end of the day, I watched the whole interview and honey, it was juicy. This man is so damn messy, honey. He is absolutely nefarious, okay? And you can tell just from this clip that he's messy as hell, honey. Okay, please pay attention. I wouldn't ever want to tell him any secrets and didn't piss him off. That's all I'm saying. Hold on just a second. Let me turn this volume up. Okay.
He told me that Paul was fucking Fat Joe's wife. That's why Fat Joe don't show up for him. And like, cause I'm like, yo, where are all his friends? Where's Fat Joe? Where's he? You told me he was fucking Fat Joe's wife too, Loretta. Yeah, Loretta. You better knock it off, Loretta. Loretta. You put the bullshit down. Cause Capricorn Clark definitely said you was thinking out that Miami house. 1000%. She gonna set a flame to everything she a part of. She worked for Puff, now she testifying against him. She went for Pusha T, she fed Drake information for $100,000 to him. Like, this bitch is a terrible person. Terrible. How did I get it? Because here's the thing, it's like, you know, I'm gonna go to Fox Boys with this shit, or I'm gonna come for you. This shit gonna be way more entertaining for the culture.
Okay, so did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Yeah, she was telling all the tea, and now he's spilling all the tea. Okay, please pay attention. Now that interview was nefarious. Okay, and like I said, that young man, or he's not a young man, he's like Diddy's age, but that guy who was saying all that stuff, Tasha K told him that he has the same exact mannerisms as Diddy, and he literally does. He's sitting there talking, chewing on a toothpick. I'm talking about if that wasn't Diddy sitting in that darn chair, I don't know who was. And so Tasha K asked him basically, you know, where did you get these mannerisms from? And he was like, from his father. But he said when he was young, he was like the top stylist or the top designer for Diddy Sean John brand. And that meetings and stuff with Diddy used to watch him really, really hard. So maybe Diddy emulated him is what he was saying. That man and Diddy do act very much so alike. Okay, they really do. I don't know who was copying who, but somebody was clearly copying somebody. Okay. So anyway. Okay, so from 1 minute ago, CNN says defense attorney Mark Agnifilo challenged Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, repeatedly as to whether she told Cassie Ventura and Kid Cudi that Combs had a gun when she called them from outside Cudi's house. Clark insisted that she told them about the gun at the time, speaking very quickly so Combs wouldn't see her on the phone. I said, Puff came to my house with a gun. We came to Cudi's house to kill him. And I heard they're in my house. She testified Ventura had the call on speaker with Kid Cudi, so she could hear him yell and say that. Honey, well, she messed up where she said he came to her house with a gun, and then she says, we came to Cudi's house to kill him. No, don't put no we. Okay, don't put no we. At the end of the day, this is all nefarious. Okay, don't put we. I'd have been like, they came here to kill him, not me. I mean, I'm just along for the ride because they put a gun to my head and said, go or else. Okay, it's all crazy. Oh, Ladybug said, I hope Tasha K posts that interview on YouTube. Okay. Nicole said, I don't think Diddy had to force none of them. He had mind control over them like Devo. It sounds like it. I mean, really, when you think about the fact that some of these people left, that they were fired or quit, and they came back, and then when you think about George Kaplan, the former assistant who testified last week, this man said that he still loves Diddy, that he still has love for Diddy, but it's a complicated relationship or something. Honey, how do you love somebody who's so nefarious? Okay. Agent said, she said, we must be speaking French now. Okay. This is all crazy. Arby said, Diddy didn't have to force anyone. His money did it. Honey, let me tell you something. He wasn't giving them any money. So I don't know why that would have done it. First of all, if he went to her house in the middle of the night with a gun, telling her, you going to tell me where he stays and you're going with us, I don't care if you want to go or not. Honey, it's no amount of money you could have offered me to be getting involved in throwing rocks at the penitentiary, because those are penitentiary charges. What if she actually rode there, they got there, Kid Cudi was there, and Diddy killed him or did something nefarious to him? They would all be in jail. Now, she could save that story for her trial, okay, while they sitting there facing whole murder charges thanks to Diddy. Okay, because the police aren't going to, the police wouldn't have been trying to hear it if she said, oh, well, they made me come. No, they wouldn't have been trying to hear that. You know what they would have said to her? They would have said, ma'am, while you were sitting out in the car by yourself with a phone, why didn't you call 911? Okay, all of them would have gone to jail. Honey, there's no money you could have paid me, baby. I don't care how much money Diddy had. That's his money, not theirs. Okay, and if you think that you can just do stuff so you can get his money, that's crazy too. Because why would you sit there and waste your time or spend your time facing penitentiary taxes just because Diddy has money? Honey, this is all crazy. This is all crazy. And then the fact that she went back in 2016, honey, I would never want to see Diddy again in my life, okay? Let alone work for him, honey. I wouldn't care what he was paying. This is all crazy, honey. Okay? I mean, who goes back to work for that kind of foolishness? Not me, that's for sure. But, you know, some people can be bought and sold. Some people do anything for money. I'm glad I'm not that way. Okay? I'm glad I'm not that way, honey, because Diddy, I'm telling y'all, Diddy probably would have had to bury me somewhere or throw me in the river, because, baby, when I tell you I would have been fighting the hell out of Diddy, oh, he want to pick up something, I'm picking up something, okay? It would have been a knockdown, drag out. Maybe I would have got knocked out, but guess what? I'd have still been fighting his arms, okay? I'd have kicked Diddy right in his Tootsie Roll. I'm just saying. See, some of these people, they don't know how to handle themselves, is all I'm saying, okay? You're not, because let me tell you something. See, with somebody like Diddy, because you already know he's crazy. He's a whole sociopath. Okay? Keep it real, said, I'm not either, queen, okay? Nicole said, pass me the bat, please, okay? Honey, I know karate. I would have done taekwondo on Diddy's arms, okay? That's why I would have karate chopped him right in his darn neck, right in his throat, right across here. Okay, I promise you. Then I would have kicked him in his Tootsie Roll, and then I would have put on the biggest ring that I could find and hit him right across the bridge in his nose. Okay? Yeah, that's what I would have done. Then you hit him right here real hard, as hard as you can, and lift up when you do an uppercut right there. It's going to make your neck spin like that, okay? Might give you whiplash if you hit him hard enough. Let me tell you something. Me and Diddy would have been going at it, baby, okay? I promise you. We would have been going at it, and I probably would have lost. Let the record reflect. I don't think I could have beat Diddy. I'm just saying that I'm crazy enough that I would have fought him regardless. Okay, regardless. And I wouldn't be going back. Like, I don't care how much money he has. It's all crazy. I don't know why these people kept putting themselves in harm's way, having themselves, to the point that now you send up her on the witness stand and you have to be offered immunity. Because Diddy had y'all committing whole crimes. He wouldn't have me commit no damn crimes. Talking about go pick up my dope, have it delivered to my house, or putting my name on your prescriptions. Oh, no, honey. None of that would have been going on, honey. He'd have fired me real quick. Okay, he would have had to fire me real quick. Matter of fact, I'd have quit. He wouldn't even have had to fire me. After hearing all these shenanigans, honey, I'd have been out of there so quick, honey, to make Diddy's head spin. Especially if he told me to come clean up that dirty RS hotel room with bussy juice everywhere and oil stains. And honey, no. Nope. OG Patrice said, y'all, I'm hearing that Remy Ma was found unconscious and rushed to the hospital. Stop lying. Lord, don't tell me Remy done tried to do something to herself. Hold on. Maybe that dude did. So hold on. Let me look this up real quick. Lord, I hope this is not true. Hold on. Let me see here. I don't see anything so far. I don't see anything so far. Nicole said Diddy knew he was dealing with a bunch of clout chasing dummies looking to be famous. That's what it sounds like. Okay? That's what it sounds like. Awkward Girl Rising, please sit down somewhere. Talking about that Clarissa beater. Y'all are low down. Laverne said Queen and me on the same team, fight team. Okay? I'm going out with a bang. Okay? Please miss me with it. Okay, I might not win, baby, but I ain't going out like no sucker. That's for sure. Okay, let me see if I can find out about Remy. Lord have mercy. Hold on, here's another update. Okay, so this is from a minute ago, CNN. Continuing to testify about the night she called Cassie Ventura from outside Kid Cudi's house in 2011, Capricorn Clark said she testified that she called Lauren London, her sister, for about 30 seconds for her own protection before she called Ventura. Clark was outside the house while Sean Diddy Combs and his security guard were inside. She was like my sister at the time, and I just wanted somebody to know where I was. Okay, he was in the house, and if he did get killed, I just needed somebody to know where I was in case this all went really bad. You mean in case Diddy actually killed him and all y'all got charged with murder? Girl, you should have been calling 911 when you were sitting outside, honey. Miss me with it. Okay, after thinking about it on the stand, Clark said it's possible that she had London on a three-way call with Ventura. She testified she can't remember whether she called London separately from Ventura or spoke to them at once on a conference call. Girl, it sounds to me like your story is just I don't know where her story is going. Maybe she just doesn't remember. I don't know. Capricorn was just saving face. She was with a shish. Okay, at the end of the day, it sounded like, like something about this story is just not ringing true to me. Okay, and then if she told Mark Agnifilo and Tina Garagos a different story during an interview, and now your story's changing. The interview wasn't that long ago, April of 2024. Okay, wasn't that long ago. I don't know what's going on here. Let me see. Okay, still no more updates. Let's just hold on. Yeah, the inquest said questionable. Okay. DJ Big Six said conspiracy felony. All right. Well, let's go back to the share. Hold on. I didn't find anything on Remy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's probably true. That's probably just a rumor. Hopefully.
Damn.
All right. This side. Yeah. This side. Let me focus on this side. Okay. Yeah. Go on. I was swinging. I was with the straps. Let's go back. All right. What's this it? Now. That's a pretty good. Too bad, right now. Boy,
The federal sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs is now entering week 3 as prosecutors are expected to call one of Combs' former assistants to testify today. Now, last week, you may remember, the jury heard from rapper Kid Cudi, whose legal name is Scott Mescudi. He testified Combs broke into his home after finding out he was dating his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Mescudi also claimed Combs was behind an attack that set his car on fire just weeks later. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman has been following this trial for us, and she's back at the courthouse this morning in Lower Manhattan. Katrina, good morning to you. What can we expect to hear from the prosecution today?
Good morning, Errol. Today we are expecting to hear from Capricorn Clark. She is one of Sean Combs' former assistants, but she also worked her way up to being an executive at his company. So the other former personal assistants we've heard from so far, Errol, worked with him for brief periods of time. This is someone who was with Combs for many years, and we've been hearing her name on the stand quite a bit. For example, in the Kid Cudi story, or Scott Mescudi that you were just talking about, he spoke about an incident where he believes that Combs broke into his house and he had received a call from Capricorn Clark, this assistant we're going to hear from today, or former assistant, saying that she had been forced to come to the house, that Combs and one of his associates were inside at the time. She was also CC'd on a message that we saw. Cassie Ventura had sent it to her mother, Regina Ventura, and this was a message where she was saying that Combs had threatened her and Mescudi, and that he was saying that he was going to release explicit sex tapes about her if her mother didn't give him $20,000, which her mother did at the time. Combs did return that money, but...
Okay, so continuing to testify about the night she called Cassie Ventura from outside Kid Cudi's house in 2011, Capricorn Clark said that she called Lauren London. Okay, so she called London and she couldn't remember if it was a conference call or she called her separately. Okay, then Sean Diddy Combs would periodically come outside the house, but his security guard stayed inside, according to Capricorn Clark. So he's coming outside to check the perimeter to see if anybody's pulled up, if the police are showing up or whatever, and to make sure of what Capricorn's doing. That's likely why he kept coming in and out. So Clark testified that on one occasion, Combs checked her phone and then called Cassie Ventura from it, asking whose number it was. Ooh, honey, okay? So the call was cut off when they heard Kid Cudi's car approaching. When Kid Cudi sped off, Combs and the security guard jumped into a car and chased him. Diddy is a whole fool, okay? Just a whole fool. I heard chasing the man. And let me tell you all something else too that I believe. Now, when Kid Cudi was at the place with Cassie, they were at the hotel, right? And then so he heard her on the phone with Capricorn, who said that Diddy's at his house, and then he was acting like he was Billy Bad Arse, and he's going to go there and confront Diddy and all this, and Cassie's begging him not to go. I think that Kid Cudi knew darn well he wasn't going to go there and try to fight Diddy, okay? Because anybody would know that somebody who knows you and they have broken into your house and they're there with somebody, of course you're not going to go and confront them. You don't know what they have. Now, Kid Cudi, of course, says he thought about this after the fact, but I think that he knew it all along, and that in fact he just wanted Cassie to think that he wasn't afraid of Diddy, and like he was just going to go there and confront Diddy, like he's really going to go there and whoop some arse. That's what I think that was all about. But when he got there and saw the cars in the yard, he just kept it moving. Okay, just like anybody with sense would. Okay, I'm sure he's heard about all the people that have met their demise that have been around Diddy or close in his proximity. Okay. Okay, so this video we're listening to from CNN is like 5 hours. It was posted 5 hours ago. So let me go back to this. I mean, CBS, not CNN. Okay, let me start it back while we wait for updates.
This should be a very interesting witness, Errol, because Combs' assistants were so close to him and have really shared significant details about his environment. And she's also important for corroborating a number of stories we've been hearing on the stand.
All right, Katrina Kaufman, with the latest, we will be checking in with you throughout the day. Thanks, Katrina.
Now on to the latest on the sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs. So far, the trial has been filled with drama and explosive comments. And today, Combs' ex-assistant, who worked for him for more than 15 years, took the stand. Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller is live in New York. Alex, you've been following this from the start. What have we learned so far today from testimony?
Well, we have learned a lot. We've gotten a good window into Capricorn Clark's experiences, particularly as the personal assistant to Sean Combs. Part of this indictment has to do with the way that there's an allegation that Sean Combs has overworked his employees. We've already heard from 2 other personal assistants who have essentially said the same. Now, with Capricorn Clark, it sounds like the threats were on from day one. On her first day working for Sean Combs, he found out that she worked for Suge Knight, his rival. At one point, he took her into Central Park after 9 p.m., so obviously very late at night and dark, and threatened to kill her because of her work with him. It threatened if anything happened to him that he would have her killed. That was just the start of many of these types of scenarios. There was another scenario where he thought that she had stolen diamond jewelry from him that was on loan. He ended up having his security go to her apartment, search her entire apartment, and then keep her in this vacant office space for 5 days, where she had to take lie detector tests over and over and over again under the threat that if she failed, she would be thrown into the East River. She never failed that test. The results for a long time were inconclusive, and they never figured out exactly what happened to that jewelry. But that just goes to show the amount of pressure that she was always living under. She's another one of these assistants who has testified to working from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. with no lunch breaks, no meal breaks, and consistently under the threat that if she did anything wrong or didn't finish her tasks, that she would be fired. She testified that she even had stress-induced alopecia because of her stress factor from working for Sean Combs. At one point, she went to HR and talked about the overtime that she was due, and they told Sean Combs that she was due $80,000 in overtime. Keep in mind, her yearly salary was just $65,000. And he ripped up that invoice that said that she was due all of this money. Their relationship, their first part of their working relationship came to a head at a time that she was in Miami with him, where she told a chef that she didn't like working for him. And when the chef then relayed that message to Combs, he pushed her some 30 yards. A security guard had to intervene, and that's when she ended up quitting her job as a personal assistant to him because she felt that he had crossed the line at that point. She ended up coming back to work for him, but only under his clothing brand, the Sean John's women clothing brand, as the director of marketing. And she said she did so because she wasn't in that inner orbit, and so she didn't feel that same sense of pressure.
And Alex, we've now heard that story of the incident with the break-in to rapper Kid Cudi's house that was detailed by him and by Cassie. But the link here is Capricorn. So what more do we know about that?
Mm-hmm. She is the link because there's no physical evidence, no security cameras that showed this break-in actually happening. Really, all that prosecutors have to go on is the fact that Capricorn Clark is the one that called and alerted Cassie about this break-in. Now, she testified that Sean Combs showed up at her house, which he had never done before. He was banging on her door to let him in. When she looked out to see that he was there, his pants apparently were ripped all the way up to the inseam, showing his underwear. When she opened the door, he was holding a gun, something that she had never seen him do. And he was saying to her over and over again, "Why didn't you tell me?" Very upset that she had not told him about this relationship with Kid Cudi. He goes into her house, tells her that she needs to get dressed, and she's coming with him to kill Kid Cudi. She protested, but he ended up bringing her along with him to Kid Cudi's house. When he went inside, she watched him go inside with a security guard. That's when Capricorn phoned Cassie on her burner phone to tell her exactly what was happening. Cassie was with Kid Cudi at this point. She could hear him yelling in the background about Sean Combs being at his house. They ended up bringing Cassie back to Sean Combs's apartment, where, according to Capricorn Clark, he immediately started kicking her and threatening Capricorn's life if she were to intervene. So you can just see that we are hearing a lot of these stories corroborated, the violence, the work that Cassie had to do to procure drugs. in these hotel room incidents, to set up these hotel rooms. This Kid Cudi incident, obviously, a very important part to the story. She did not want to talk about the arson incident that we heard about last week, but that, again, the continued threats, not only of Capricorn herself, but of Cassie in front of her.
All right, Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller live for us in New York. Alex, thank you.
I'm about to cash a $50,000 check for an accident I was involved in over 5 months ago. The same accident.
Okay, so confirmed by TMZ, Cassie is at the hospital in the labor and delivery unit. She was rushed there. Okay, about an hour ago it was reported. Said that Cassie Ventura is trading the courtroom for the hospital. It sounds like she may be about to go into labor. Our sources tell us Cassie was rushed to a New York hospital Tuesday, and she's in the labor and delivery unit. Okay. Well, congratulations to Cassie. Hope she has a smooth delivery. I still haven't seen anything about Remy Ma. But let's go back to these updates from CNN. Let's see here. Okay. From CNN, they say from 1 minute ago, Sean Diddy Combs will periodically come outside the house with his security guard. Okay, so he's sitting there watching. Then he asked her about the phone number. Then he chased Kid Cudi. That's the last that we have from CNN. Okay, let me go to Inner City Press, see what they have. They are being so slow about putting out the news today, honey. Please pay attention. Okay, here's Inner City Press from 3 minutes ago. Says, Agnifilo says, did it hurt that he would only take you back because Cassie wanted to? Capricorn said, yes. I have no parents. My son is autistic. My stakes are higher, sir. Yeah, because remember she said her parents died? The judge says, how much more, Mr. Agnifilo? Agnifilo says, can I talk to the government? The judge says, sidebar. Okay, what's wrong with his line of questioning? The judge may think that it's being too evasive or invasive. Okay, so Agnifilo says, just a few more minutes and we'll get you out today. This is what he told Capricorn. And she says, thank you, sir. Agnifilo said, you did a lot of great work with Cassie in 2016 and 2017, right? She says, I believe so. Agnifilo said, Cassie had addiction problems. She says, yes. Now, if I was the prosecution, I would have said, move to strike on the grounds of speculation. Capricorn Clark is not authorized, nor is she qualified to diagnose whether or not someone has a rug with a D addiction. Okay, she can only go by what she saw and what she thinks. And that is clearly speculation. All right, so anyway, stuck on 3. This is from 3 minutes ago. That's the last we have right now. I hope they're not staying in court till 5 o'clock today. It looks like they may be because it's already 3 o'clock, honey. And Capricorn's still on the stand. Ugh. Okay, so still nothing new from CNN. DJ Big Six said sustained. Okay. Right now, the last we got is they're at the sidebar. Or no. Agnifilo asked if she had addiction problems, if Cassie did. Okay.
Mira esto como está, mira esto como está. Aquí trabajando. Esta es la Corte Federal de... Diddy trial.
Sean Diddy Combs. So far, the trial has been filled with drama and explosive comments. And today, Combs' ex-assistant, who worked for him for more than 15 years, took the stand. Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller is live in New York. Alex, you've been following this from the start. What have we learned so far today from testimony?
Well, we have learned a lot. We've gotten a good window into Capricorn Clark's experiences, particularly as the personal assistant to Sean Combs. Part of this indictment has to do with the way that there's an allegation that Sean Combs has overworked his employees. We've already heard from 2 other personal assistants who have essentially said the same. Now, with Capricorn Clark, it sounds like the threats were on from day one. On her first day working for Sean Combs, he found out that she worked for Suge Knight, his rival, at one point. He took her into Central Park after 9 p.m., so obviously very late at night and dark, and threatened to kill her because of her work with him. It threatened if anything happened to him that he would have her killed. That was just the start of many of these types of scenarios. There was another scenario where he thought that she had stolen diamond jewelry from him that was on loan. He ended up having his security go to her apartment, search her entire apartment, and then keep her in this vacant office space for 5 days, where she had to take lie detector tests over and over and over again under the threat that if she failed, she would be thrown into the East River. She never failed that test. The results for a long time were inconclusive, and they never figured out exactly what happened to that jewelry. But that just goes to show the amount of pressure that she was always living under. She's another one of these assistants who has testified to working from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. with no lunch breaks, no meal breaks, and consistently under the threat that if she did anything wrong or didn't finish her tasks, that she would be fired. She testified that she even had stress-induced alopecia because of her stress factor from working for Sean Combs. At one point, she went to HR and talked about the overtime that she was due, and they told Sean Combs that she was due $80,000 in overtime. Keep in mind, her yearly salary was just $65,000, and he ripped up that invoice that said that she was due all of this money. Their relationship, their first part of their working relationship, came to a head at a time that she was in Miami with him, where she told a chef that she didn't like working for him. And when the chef then relayed that message to Combs, he pushed her some 30 yards. A security guard had to intervene, and that's when she ended up quitting her job as a personal assistant to him because she felt that he had crossed the line at that point. She ended up coming back to work for him, but only under his clothing brand, the Sean John's women clothing brand, as the director of marketing. And she said she did so because she wasn't in that inner orbit, and so she didn't feel that same sense of pressure.
And Alex, we've now heard that story of the incident with the break-in to rapper Kid Cudi's house. That was detailed by him and by Cassie. But the link here is Capricorn. So what more do we know about that?
Mm-hmm. she is the link because there's no physical evidence, no security cameras that show this break-in actually happening. Really, all that prosecutors have to go on is the fact that Capricorn Clark is the one that called and alerted Cassie about this break-in. Now, she testified that Sean Combs showed up at her house, which he had never done before. He was banging on her door to let him in. When she looked out to see that he was there, his pants apparently were ripped all the way up to the inseam, showing his underwear. When she opened the door, he was holding a gun, something that she had never seen him do. And he was saying to her over and over again, "Why didn't you tell me?" Very upset that she had not told him about this relationship with Kid Cudi. He goes into her house, tells her that she needs to get dressed, and he's coming with her. She's coming with him, rather, to kill Kid Cudi. She protested, but he ended up bringing her along with him to Kid Cudi's house. When he went inside, she watched him go inside with a security guard. That's when Capricorn phoned Cassie on her burner phone to tell her exactly what was happening. Cassie was with Kid Cudi at this point. She could hear him yelling in the background about Sean Combs being at his house. They ended up bringing Cassie back to Sean Combs's apartment, where, according to Capricorn Clark, he immediately started kicking her and threatening Capricorn's life if she were to intervene. So you can just see that we are hearing a lot of these stories corroborated, the violence, the work that Cassie had to do to procure drugs in these hotel room incidents, to set up these hotel rooms. This Kid Cudi incident, obviously a very important part to the story. She did not want to talk about the arson incident that we heard about last week, but that, again, the continued threats, not only of Capricorn herself, but of Cassie in front of her.
All right, Scripps News National correspondent Alex Miller live for us in New York. Alex, thank you.
3 signs your car accident is worth major compensation. If you've been in a car accident recently, there are 3 critical signs that could indicate your case is worth significant compensation, possibly even 6 or 7 figures. Sign number 1, insurance.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to that report in a second. Tree says Cassie rushed to hospital queen labor shade room. Yeah, I literally just said that, beloved. Thank you for your input into the topic and for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Yeah, I did say that. That Cassie is in labor and delivery. That was reported by TMZ about an hour ago. Okay. Hold on for a second. Let me see something here. Okay, so I'm going to go to this report by Court TV. I'm going to put up an overlay because they're saying something about Kid Cudi. This is from like 40 minutes ago. Hold on just a second. Here we go.
From the rap industry, controversial figure Kanye West put in his 2 cents. He said he wishes, quote, Cudi hadn't testified against Puff. West has been a staunch supporter of Combs's from the very beginning. And he's not getting any love from fellow rapper Young Thug either. Thug going so far as to call Cudi a rat for testifying. Now, for the record, Cudi had no choice but to testify. You don't ignore a federal subpoena or else you get tossed in jail. Now, here's Cudi's testimony. Here's a little clip of it. Remember, there's no cameras in federal court, so we have to use AI technology in the court transcript. We marry them together. So we want to give you a little taste of what it was like when Cudi was on the stand. Take a look.
Mr. Combs made it clear to you that he was also confused. True? True. Just like you, he's similarly situated. He did not, to your knowledge, know that you were dating Ms. Ventura. True? Yes. True. And he wants to understand, how did this happen? And you want to understand, how did this happen, basically, right? Yes. And Ms. Ventura was living 2 different lives. Is that true? Yes.
Objection.
Overruled. When you went in that room with Mr. Combs, no weapons, to your knowledge. True. No. He definitely didn't threaten you, true?
No.
In fact, he was gracious. I think your word was really calm.
Yeah.
And you were professional as well, true?
Yes.
And it was an understanding, a meeting that this was about a girl, a relationship, and both of you guys were played. That's pretty much how it ended, true?
True.
And the person who played you is the same person who played Sean. It's Ms. Ventura, true?
True.
To your knowledge, we're approximately, if you don't mind, approximately 13 and a half years after January 9th, 2012, when your car was damaged. Is that approximately true?
Yes.
To your knowledge, no one has been charged or arrested for the damage to your car. Am I right?
No.
Objection. Sustained. The jury should disregard the witness's last answer.
In the 13 and a half years that has passed in California, have you ever been notified that there's been any other action on this case in California?
Action on?
The car, the damage to the car.
No.
Do you remember back when you were with Ms. Ventura, did she have multiple phones, if you can remember?
I don't think I remembered that.
Do you remember telling that to law enforcement, that she had multiple phones?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Can I ask you to look at something in this honorable court, with this court's permission, to see if it jogs your memory?
Yeah. If I said it, I guess I said it.
Do you know what a burner phone is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
With regards to the night of the trespass in your home, I think you called it a break-in. I guess more narrowed to trespass, but that's what I'm talking about, okay?
Right.
You received a phone call from Ms. Ventura explaining that she gave your home address to Combs. Do you remember that?
The morning of, not the evening.
About 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. Fair to say?
Yes.
I'm just trying to coordinate you.
Yeah.
And that information about your address, according to what you were told, came from Ms. Ventura to Mr. Combs?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about it. Will Kid Cudi regret testifying against Diddy? I want to welcome in entertainment commentator, actress, and photographer Holland Reed. Holland, good morning. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think? Do you think Cudi is going to have some regret?
Oh, God. Good morning, Julie. First of all, no. This is not the age or the era of being silent. That has been the problem in all of these industries for decades, for years. It is literally institutional silence that has been the staple of the music industry. This is the Me Too movement of the music industry, and Cassie hopefully will be, I hate to say that she would be the face of it, but this whole entire situation with Diddy is exposing the underlying problems that have been going on forever. Silence, I said it last time, silence is loyalty, and that's what the currency is. No, I don't think he's going to regret it because he did speak up. Now, I will say that the defense and the prosecution are doing their job. Thank God. This is a very good trial to watch. Everyone's doing their job. They're trying to discredit Cudi and Cassie, the relationships, but in the same breath, you are absolutely confirming what has been going on in the music industry for decades. And so I don't think he's going to regret it. I think that if you're choosing between ponying up to rubbing elbows a little bit longer with a Diddy or anybody else versus your soul and your integrity, then we're going to go on Team Cudi for this one.
Right. Oh, I love what you just said there, Holland. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, I would say probably, at least from what I've seen on social, it looks like the overwhelming majority of people are Team Cudi, on this one. And yeah, I mean, taking a stand and look, I can't emphasize this enough. He was subpoenaed to come to federal court. So it was going to get done one of two ways. Either he was going to come willingly, like we saw him, rocking his leather jacket, his jeans, his sneakers, smoking a cigarette as he was going in there. I don't think he was like jumping for joy to get in the courtroom, or they could say, okay, well, we will get a material witness warrant for you, Mr. Cudi, if you don't show up, and we will have the marshals going to bring you in. It could be like, look, do it the easy way, do it the hard way. It was going to get done. Holland, tell me, I want to zone in on what Young Thug said, okay? So Thug is calling him a rat. To me, somebody, look, I was a prosecutor, and informants are very helpful to the justice system. They are. They get called rats, whatever. To me, there's a big distinction as somebody who's working with the government or the state to inform, to let the state know about criminal conduct versus somebody who just gets subpoenaed because they had their car blown up through no fault of their own. Do you agree that, I don't think that the rat characterization is appropriate here? Your thoughts?
Okay, so my thoughts on this are this is a RICO trial. What they're trying to do is establish, as you know this, and I'm not, again, I pretend like I feel like I want to be a lawyer, but I'm not. But where they're trying to establish.
We say it all the time.
Man, listen, we'll talk about that later.
Yes, girl.
The thing is, Diddy was an enterprise. He's not just a man. He was a machine. And he used that machine, and he used the people around him, assistants. Young Thug saying that, honestly, in my opinion, confirms that this was a system. This was systemic. This was a machine. This was an organization. If you are a rat and you are a mobster, if you are, the Don Corleone, whatever, old school, type of mob mentality, you're confirmed.
Okay, so with that all been said, I had to stop that. It was too much playing in my ear at once. Okay, so let's get into a few more of these updates. Oh, Lord, they're going to be in here till 5 o'clock today from the looks of it. Okay, so Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, broke into sobs as she looked at emails that she sent Combs in 2014 and 2015 asking him to forgive her. Are y'all listening? She testified earlier in the day that although she was officially fired in 2012 over a vacation that she took, she believed Combs actually fired her because he was upset about her knowledge of Cassie Ventura's relationship with Kid Cudi. She also said she felt like she was a protector for Combs and he didn't have anyone looking out for him without her on the staff. That email is me pleading like, dude, let it go. Clark, through tears, said that she was hurt because she believed at the time that Ventura wanted her fired. It also bothered her, Clark said, that she believed Combs only hired her again in 2016 because Ventura wanted to work with her. She definitely had a crush on Diddy. Okay, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo has finished his cross-examination of Capricorn Clark. Judge Aaron Subramanian has directed Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner to begin redirect. Okay, so let's wait to see what else is coming up. Let me check with Inner City Press. So far, nothing from them. Okay, so I'm going to go to this video report right here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
On Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial has resumed after the holiday break. Federal prosecutors called Combs' former assistant to the stand.
She told the jury that at one point Combs woke up an employee in the middle of the night, forced her at gunpoint to take Combs and his bodyguard to the home of a man who Ventura had been dating. ABC's Rena Roy has more. She's outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Rena.
Yeah, David and Tanya, Capricorn Clark is on the stand telling jurors about 2 different times that she says she was held against her will while working for Sean Diddy Combs. And prosecutors are hoping that this kind of testimony proves the kidnapping element of the racketeering conspiracy charge against Combs. Capricorn Clark taking the stand today in the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Clark was once an assistant to Combs. Clark testifying about being petrified when she was held against her will in 2004 and forced to take a lie detector test about some missing jewelry. Clark telling jurors she was taken to a dilapidated building by one of Combs' bodyguards. She testified a man told her she was going to take the lie detector test to figure out what happened to Combs' jewelry. And if she didn't pass, quote, they're going to throw you in the East River. Clark says the bodyguard took her to the same deserted location on 5 consecutive days for lie detector tests. Last week, rapper Kid Cudi testified that Clark was the one who alerted him that Combs had allegedly broken into his home when he found out Cassie Ventura and Kid Cudi were dating. Kid Cudi He's saying Clark called him, saying she was forced to go along. He also testified that he believes Combs was responsible for setting his Porsche on fire in a different instance. Members of the LA Fire and Police Departments also testifying today. Over the last 2 weeks, prosecutors have called 16 witnesses, attempting to prove Combs used violence and threats to coerce women into sex and protect his music empire. Combs has pleaded not guilty and denies sexually assaulting or trafficking anyone. His lawyers have argued that his domestic violence was driven by jealousy and drug addiction, and that his sexual activities do not amount to sex trafficking. Combs saying all sexual encounters were consensual. Now, prosecutors say they feel that the trial is right on schedule. Their case is expected to take about 6 weeks in total. David, Tanya?
Rena, who else is expected to take the stand today?
Well, we could see an arson investigator with the LA Fire Department testify as early as today. You'll remember that last week, Kid Cudi testified that he believed Combs was responsible for a car fire for setting his Porsche on fire in his Los Angeles driveway in 2012 after Combs found out about his relationship with Cassie Ventura. So the jury saw photos of that car fire, and now they'll hear from this investigator who responded to the scene. And he'll likely talk about the evidence that he saw, including the smoke and the fire damage, a burnt handkerchief, a lighter, and a bottle that was filled with liquid that smelled like gasoline. He'll also likely talk about his conclusion that this fire was set intentionally.
Hi, I'm Burke.
Okay. Let's go to some of these updates. Okay, so we're going to start with Inner City Press from 10 minutes ago. Okay, here's what they report. Capricorn Clark says, I was blacklisted. Agnifilo says, objection. The judge says, sustained. AUSA says, why did you return to work for Mr. Combs? She says, so people could see that I wasn't disposable. At this level of business, he held all the power. AUSA says, why did you meet him? She said, to get my life back. Girl, this from the man that threatened to take your life. How are you going to get your life back from him, honey? I wouldn't have wanted to be within 100 yards of Diddy, okay? Please. So, AUSA says, in the kidnapping, did Mr. Combs carry a gun? Capricorn says, yes. Judge says, jurors, I know that we kept you longer than I said. Thank you. See you tomorrow. All rise. Okay, so it's over, honey, and I'm glad. Not a moment too soon, honey. I need to go lay down somewhere. Okay, let me give you all the last couple of updates from CNN. Okay, 3 minutes ago, Capricorn Clark, Sean Diddy Combs' former employee, testified that when she worked for Cassie Ventura, Combs was required to approve all her looks, each of her songs, and everything went everywhere or every event she went to. She said Combs would withdraw his support when the couple was fighting. Okay, 3 minutes ago, under redirect examination, former Sean Diddy Combs employee Capricorn Clark said that the settlement she reached with Combs after her 2012 firing required mutual non-disparagement. So that means they couldn't talk bad about each other. So that means, beloveds, if you all remember, I read to you what Diddy said about her. He was talking really nice. Okay, because someone asked him, did she steal from him? And he said, no, she never did any such thing. She was always a pleasure to work with. No, she wasn't fired. She just moved on to bigger and better things. Do you all remember that? And I said, okay, for Diddy to be saying all this nice stuff after he did this, allegedly did these things to her, he must have been afraid that she was going to sue him or go to the police. So now we see that they both signed an agreement for non-disparagement. Okay, there was a settlement that she reached with Combs and required a mutual non-disparagement, and that Combs signed a letter of recommendation for Clark. Combs never signed that recommendation letter, she testified. See, he wasn't going to do all that. He's like, I'm only going to do so much. I'm not going to help you get a job after I'd already told everybody else that you were the devil. Okay. So then Clark couldn't get a job in the industry after that, but Lauren London was still his friend. Make that make sense. She also said that in a meeting that she thought was about possible employment with executives from Interscope Records, they told her to leave Combs alone and it wouldn't end well for her. Do y'all hear this? not the record labels going in on her. She said this was Interscope. Told her to leave him alone or it's not going to go good for her. Judge Aaron Subramanian struck that part of the testimony from the record after sustaining a defense objection because that's hearsay, okay? Clark testified that she continued to look for work through 2015, but wasn't able to find a new job in the industry because she was blacklisted. The judge sustained another defense objection to that response, okay? Because there's no proof she was blacklisted, even though we know that Diddy probably did blacklist her. Unfortunately, that's a little bit hard to prove unless the person that did it admits to it, and the people that conspired with that person to blacklist you admit to it, and we know none of them will, okay? So she said that she wasn't able to find steady work in the entertainment industry, so she started consulting. At this level of business, he holds all the power as it related to me, she said. Okay, and then last but not least, Capricorn Clark, a former employee of Sean Diddy Combs, has finished her testimony, and the jury has been dismissed for the day. And so are we, beloveds. Okay, so anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. I hope you all are enjoying this. Okay, this is all crazy. Mel said Diddy always said he is a savage, and he is, okay? He absolutely is. All right. D Hood Rilla said Diddy blackballed her. Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce are known for this. Well, yes, of course they are, beloved. But knowing that they're doing these things, proving it is another. We don't have any proof that they actually are doing it. Just like Monique didn't really have any proof that Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels and the rest of them, as she was accused of them, Oprah, but pretty sure they did. Okay. Avery says, thank you, Queen. Feel better. See you all on the next stream, Royce. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got